So this is something that's starting in the UK, but it's like it sets like a dangerous precedent. This is the Online Safety Act. Okay, LBC explains. So this is something that's starting out in the UK, but it may perchance set a dangerous precedent for what's going on in the US, because if this starts holding ground in a bunch of different countries, eventually it's going to come to the US and it's not going to be good. So let's start here.
Of the Online Safety Act, but it's something you should really know about. It's been rumbling along in the background for literally years, and it's changed and is changing the way you are policed and the way you experience the internet.
This groundbreaking piece of legislation gives Ofcom an expanded role to help achieve a safer life and a safer environment online.
The Act was passed by the previous Conservative government in 2023, but before I explain what's covered by the Online Safety Act, I have to tell you why it came about and why we need it.
Dude, I'm sorry, chat. This lady has such bad posture. She, like, this is, like, irrelevant to what's going on. She looks like the blonde lady from Elden Ring. Hold on. She looks like this, bro.
Online harms policy paper in 2019, which found that 2/3 of adults in the UK were concerned about content online, and almost half said they'd seen hateful content in the past year. The paper referenced the then recent New Zealand mosque shootings, which killed 51 people.
Okay.
The perpetrator published a manifesto online and live streamed the attack on Facebook. The then government concluded at the time, if we surrender our online spaces to those who spread hate, abuse, fear, and vitriolic content, then we will all lose. The new Online Safety Act.
You know what, chat? I think I kind of agree with like the sentiment that like, oh, you know, a lot of people get there whatever online, but it's like, who gets to decide what hate means, right? Yeah, dude, if this act is passed, all my chat is gone because they're all haters and they're gonna hate on me. You guys are all going to jail. I don't like the idea that if I yell something at someone in a video game, I get to go to jail, okay?
To search services and to social media. It's going to be enforced by Ofcom. Now, the Act has been gradually coming into force since 2023, and one of the two most important parts is going to come into force in the summer. That's the children's codes. Basically, these new powers are going to arrive that should help ensure platforms have systems in place to prevent children from encountering harmful content. In order to do that,
I agree with that, by the way. I actually agree that. Like, genuinely, guys, I really don't like the fact, how do I phrase this? It seems like the content that kids are getting has become more and more like not for them. I'll give you an example of content that I think is totally not acceptable for kids to be consuming, but is like constantly pushed. The Bob House. Okay, the Bob House is a pee house, okay? It's a OnlyFans house of women selling OnlyFans adult content. Why is their main audience kids, bro? Okay, why is their main audience kids? Like, that's not acceptable, all right? And that's some shit where you're like, okay, maybe some online safety stuff should probably be in place, okay? But I'm very scared, and I wouldn't feel comfortable with how a government would go about regulating that shit. I don't know. Let's see how they would regulate.
To ask tech companies to bring in age checks where necessary. One way these age checks could work is basically you'll have to identify yourself, like the way you have to identify yourself to get into your online bank.
See, here's the issue, chat. This seems like an excuse. I feel like maybe this is like an excuse to just get people's data. There are other things you could do, like changing the algorithm based on like if someone is watching Cocomelon, they shouldn't also get Bop House recommended to them, you know what I'm saying? But asking people for their IDs, an age check to verify themselves, how would kids even identify themselves? Seems like a very, very slippery slope, all right? This seems like you're giving the government the power to know what you're saying, all right? Like, I know the UK has pretty dystopian laws in comparison to, like, the shit that we have here. They have pretty dystopian laws. Like, you know, in the UK, chat, you could be arrested for saying mean things on the internet.
Also recommends platforms look at their algorithms, because kids may not be searching for harmful material.
I agree with that.
But after a while scrolling, they could be led down a path where they see harmful material. Now, this change has been dubbed taming the algorithm. This all, of course, follows the death of Molly Russell, who ended her life aged 14 after viewing suicide and self-harm content on social media. Her father, Ian, has consulted on the proposals.
As we begin to answer...
Back in the day, chat, people would blame video games for violent stuff. You know, people would always like to blame, like, other things instead of, like, blaming... I don't know the situation, but I feel like it's, like, blaming the internet for it is like blaming the wrong thing. I think there's like other things we could blame.
The consultation process that Ofcom is going through, we see that there are things where the bill is weak or could be structured in a stronger way. What is vital is no time is lost by this government in making sure that the bill is strengthened where it needs to be.
As you can hear there, he doesn't think they go nearly far enough. Neither does the mother of Brianna, Esther J.
What I am calling for is for there to be more research, because the term age appropriateness is being thrown around all the time, but what age is appropriate, we don't know.
There have also been calls by some to include a ban on social media for under 16s. In fact, even government ministers have admitted this could happen in the future. This would follow an example by Australia. They voted to do this last year, but it hasn't come into effect yet.
I don't know about a ban on social media. Like, that's weird. I just think the algorithm needs to be looked at a little bit. The problem is, whatever thing that they put in place, whatever system they put in place is going to need your ID. It's going to need to verify your age. It seems to me like it's an excuse to get that information.
Now, children's charities have been mostly supportive of the act, but many in government and outside government feel there are significant and gaping loopholes.
The onus should be on the social media companies to demonstrate that their apps are safe for children to use, and if they can't, then their app cannot be used by children.
Features such as live streaming, ephemeral content and recommender algorithms, tools that are frequently exploited for online abuse, are also not meaningfully addressed in the current framework.
Others, though,
you know, a lot of these problems could be fixed if people were just better parents. Like, if you're this whole online safety thing, if it's like a thing that we care about, because I do care about online safety. Like, I actually genuinely think we need some sort of like online safety thing, because the level of like shit that it's gotten out of hand. But I think the way it comes isn't by the government being like, oh, you need to tell us how old you are. Okay, I think it's about parents stepping up and actually caring what their kids are doing on the internet. Parents nowadays have just been like, hey, here you go, touch the internet, get on the internet, I don't care, I got other shit to do. All right, I got other shit to do, go on the internet, do whatever you want. And I don't think that's how that's gonna work. I don't think that works.
I think it goes way too far.
You understand the issue it's trying to address, but I think the way it's worded, it'll end up going after people who aren't doing anything wrong.
Tech bosses have been among those to warn this could harm free speech and push some companies out of business. Okay, so that's the children's codes. The other part of the act that's going to come into play later this month is the illegal codes. This means stopping things like extreme pornography, child sexual abuse, and terrorism. And the act puts...
Yeah, I agree with all this stuff. Isn't all this stuff illegal already? I don't know. This seems weird.
The onus on platforms to make sure illegal content doesn't get posted. And then if it is posted, it's not promoted and is removed quickly. And there's more. New criminal offences were also introduced by the Act in January, like encouraging or assisting serious self-harm, cyberflashing,
epilepsy trolling. What is epilepsy trolling, bro? That sounds like that's some super villain shit, bro.
Information intended to cause non-trivial harm. It's also going to make it easier for bereaved parents to get information about their children's online activity. Ofcom is,
just talk to your kids, bro. Just talk to your kids.
Of course, the regulator. But what can Ofcom do if platforms don't protect their users? Well, they can be fined up to £18 million or 10% of their qualifying worldwide revenue. Or criminal sanctions can be taken against senior managers, and criminal liability can also be taken. And if all that doesn't work, well, Ofcom will be able to stop platforms generating money or being accessed in the UK.
Guys, what do we think? Should we ban the internet? I think I agree with the premise that, like, we need to do something about the content that's going on online, like, actually. But I don't think the correct answer to it is more regulation for the government, okay? I think the answer of it is parents to be more informed on what their kids are doing. And the onus should be on the parents to go out and be like, figure it out. Like, actually care about your kids and know what they're doing online. Like, I think that's where it is. When this generation, like our generation, gets older and has kids, they're a lot more informed on the internet. Like, you can't really blame the previous generation because, okay, their knowledge of the internet has gone like this, while the internet itself has gone like this. So, like, how are they supposed to compete? But this generation kind of knows. So I don't know. I don't agree with like having a bunch of these laws. I know it's the UK, so I don't have a say over there, but I wouldn't want this to become the norm and then come over to the United States.